So today, we're going to dive into a really powerful idea from Chapter 9 of Alan R. Scott's book, The Buddha's Lost Art of Gaam-Node Ru. And honestly, it's a chapter that totally flips the script on one of the biggest, most intimidating concepts out there, liberation.
I mean, you've probably felt this, right? We hear these huge words like enlightenment or true inner peace, and it just feels like this mythical prize, something for somebody else in some far-off monastery, maybe in another lifetime. It just feels completely out of reach for us in the middle of our busy, messy lives.
And that right there is the big misunderstanding the book just shatters. We're taught to see liberation as this one-time massive event. Like you either have it or you don't. It's a finish line so far in the distance we don't even bother lacing up our shoes. But what if that whole way of thinking is just wrong?
Yeah, so the book challenges us to completely shift our perspective. Instead of seeing liberation as one giant, impossible leap, what if we saw it as a whole series of tiny, achievable steps? The book argues that real liberation isn't found at the destination, it's found in each of those small steps, in these little moments of freedom we can create right now.
To make this idea really stick, the book gives us this incredible analogy of holding a hot piece of coal. See, we get so used to carrying around our own suffering, our anxieties, our frustrations, our bad habits, that we forget we're even holding it. The burn just feels normal. Liberation, in this new view, isn't some complex ritual. It's just that first honest-to-goodness moment of awareness. The second you finally realize, whoa, this thing is burning me.
So how do we get to that moment of seeing? Well, the book introduces a specific tool for this, and it's called Gaam-Node Ru. It's a Thai term. Gaam-Node means to direct with purpose, and Ru means to know with this really clear awareness. So when you put them together, it's the simple, conscious act of deciding to know what's happening in this very moment.
And this is where it gets really empowering. This isn't a passive practice. You get to be in the driver's seat. You actively decide what to pay attention to. Maybe it's the feeling of your feet on the floor, the sound of your own breathing, or the tension in your shoulders. Every single time you choose to do this, you are literally designing your own little pocket of freedom.
Okay, but that's the critical question, isn't it? If this tool is so great, what are the stakes? I mean, what really happens if we just don't use it and drift along like we usually do?
Well, the book describes these two forces it calls the bad and stagnant natures. Think of them like inner hijackers. The bad nature is that impulse that pushes you toward anger, jealousy, and just causing trouble. And the stagnant nature, that's that dull, passive voice that just wants you to keep scrolling, put things off, and stay numb. Without a tool to be mindful, these two are always fighting for the steering wheel. And this is the real danger. Without actively setting the condition to know, we're basically leaving the front door of our minds wide open. We're letting chance and these really unhelpful inner forces make our choices for us. And that's how we get hijacked into saying things we regret or wasting hours of our lives, all because we weren't guarding the door.
All right, so we get the theory and we definitely get the stakes. So now let's get practical. How do we actually turn this idea into something we do in our real lives?
The book lays out a super clear path. You don't have to become a meditation guru overnight, okay? You start small. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and just get a feel for what it's like. Then you start practicing with your eyes open. And from there, you slowly start to weave it into the real world, moment by moment.
The whole goal is to start finding these little pockets of liberation everywhere. Right before you jump into a tough conversation, you can use Gaam-Node Ru to just feel the sensation in your chest. When you're walking to your car, you can set the condition to know the feeling of your feet on the pavement. Every one of these is a tiny, real act of freedom.
Now, of course, it's not going to be easy at first. The book is really honest about this. In the beginning, remembering to do it feels totally manual, kind of like learning to drive a stick shift. It's clunky, but you stick with it and it becomes semi-automatic. And eventually, believe it or not, it can become your new default setting, just a steady, quiet awareness humming in the background of your life.
And this is so important to remember. You are going to forget. You're going to get swept away by thoughts, by emotions, by the day. That's not failure. The practice isn't about never forgetting. The practice is the act of remembering. The moment you realize you've drifted, guess what? You're already back.
And that just redefines the whole game. Success isn't about reaching some perfect, enlightened state way off in the future. Success is the single step. It's that one moment of remembering, that tiny choice you make to connect with right now. Every single one of those steps, that is liberation.
So, the tool is officially in your hands. This isn't just some abstract idea. It's a direct invitation to you. What's one small, simple thing you can set the condition to know right now? Maybe the feeling of your breath, or the chair supporting you? The choice is yours. Make sure you join us next time as we dive into the incredible story of the author, Alan R. Scott, and the teacher who inspired this whole book.